Do you prefer Aaron sitting there looking weird, contributing nothing, or Luke accidentally contributing but not well, like actively trying too hard, contributing but he's trying too hard so it doesn't feel genuine?
Oh no, Aaron right. By a mile.
We prefer our men quiet. Yeah. Seen and not heard.
Yes, with the fuzzy hat and the bug eyes. That was amazing.
It was so weird.
Listener discretion advised. Adult language and mature content.
Welcome back, everybody. 2 Queens, 1 Screen. I'm Jen.
I'm Keeley.
And we have just had such a good week because not only do we have our favorite show, The Valley, to talk about, and we have a really cool beginning of a new documentary that Keeley turned me on to, and I'm devastated that I'm not ready to watch extra episodes. They're going to do it slower.
Oh, I know.
I'm not patient anymore. Love Island restarted, guys.
Love Island.
We love it. It's already starting out really good. I miss my girls from last season.
Yeah.
I loved Leah from the very beginning.
Oh, yeah.
And I loved Kaylor from the very beginning. And Matt, to this day, Matt and I go, fuck, Aaron, fuck. Like, it's so Pennsylvania. It's so good. Fuck.
Yeah.
Kaylor, she's just like a little light. But I like the season so far. There's no Janae for me yet. Although, Shelly, I feel like, is like this season's Janae.
Oh,
maybe.
Shelly is wonderful. Yes.
She's so hot.
Oh, she's beautiful. If she doesn't get some sort of brand deal or something after this modeling job, I will be surprised.
I'm really enjoying that all of the commercials are hiring last season's people.
I know. I really love Kaylor and Janae, the Maybelline commercial. That's like...
they're like secret agents.
Yes, I love that commercial. It's very cute.
They're so cute.
Yeah.
I don't really care for any of the men. Other than the one guy, but he's with Huda.
Oh,
I liked him. Jeremiah. But now he's like freaking out because Huda coulda shoulda having her coming out with her I'm a mom, and he has like a full breakdown. Even though it's several nights a week, it's never going to be enough for me.
Oh God, no.
But it's
so
the
good,
perfect show to put on.
Yeah.
Because I can play Sudoku and eat my candy in bed while watching that show. And if you miss 5 minutes because you get up and go to the bathroom, it doesn't matter. It's so easy to watch.
It's so good.
The Florida guy freaks me out. With the frosted tips. Austin. Pool boy Austin.
No. Yeah.
Who's attracted to him?
Himself. He's attracted to him.
But how did he get on the show? Like, these girls, it's already been shown, especially in the UK versions. Yeah. These girls are getting tens of thousands of dollars worth of plastic surgery and injectables and nips and tucks and all sorts, and extensions and the lashes and the nails. And then they have that guy. Yeah. He's just like, he's a Florida pool boy with frosted tips. And he's not, I mean, I guess he's got like an okay physique. And I enjoy that they have no personality, but his is just awful.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I just can't.
And Shelly is way too nice for him.
I don't know why she's even... Well, because she's playing the game. I mean, it's only the first week.
I know.
And who was it last season? There was like this super hot guy, super tall, super buff.
Was it Connor?
No, he got out in the first... His name was like Ty or something.
Okay.
But he got out in the first episode. Like, he was the first person cut, and it made no sense because all the girls wanted him. But then they did the opposite. I'm trying to say something. My kids are so noisy. Stop.
We're talking about Love Island. Come on.
We're talking about Love Island. But yeah, the guy, he got kicked out on the first episode. Yeah. Because all the girls played it safe instead of going after him real hard.
Yeah, I remember him.
It was like the opposite of A Beautiful Mind. Remember when in A Beautiful Mind, he's like, everyone goes after the hottest girl. And then we would all get laid if we went after the second hottest girl. And then no one went after the hottest girl. And they beautiful minded it. Yeah. And then the hottest guy got kicked off first. It made no sense. And I'm still not over it, even though I don't remember his name.
I know.
But yeah, I think the season's going to be good. And Dad, maybe you should be watching it.
You should. You should watch it. It's super fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's great. It's great.
They were showing clips from the UK version, and there was a girl, and she was like, so we're in Ibiza. Is that a continent? And they're like, no, it's an island. And she's like, okay, but I live in Essex, so that's a country. And they're like, no, that's a city. And she's like, okay, but then I'm in blah, blah, blah. And they're like, no, that's a county. And she's like, what's the difference between a county and a country? And they're trying to break this down for her, and she cannot get it. But she's also so fucking hot that you go, that's why she doesn't need to learn anything. Yeah. Like, she's so good looking, she doesn't need to learn anything. But yeah, people get full on careers just by being on this show. Yeah. So good for them.
It's so great. It's so worth that whatever 6 hours a week to sit and watch it.
It's just so dumb. It's so dumb. Favorite. And it's so good. And then my second favorite dumb show. What's great about our other favorite show, The Valley, is that it also is dumb, but then there's some high stakes, like I need to figure out what my values are in these situations.
Oh, God. Okay.
I think. And then if you don't feel like doing that, then you can just watch Brock, because he's in a lot this week, and he's my VIP.
Okay.
I just thought he was really funny. Throughout the whole thing. Like, he really was, like, very chill, and he's so natural in front of the camera now. And I wish they would bring Scheana and him back in just for him. I like him as much as I like Scheana.
Okay.
Speaking of Scheana, that's where we start. They're at Sheena's. She's having an enchilada party, apparently.
Of course she is.
Did you see those enchiladas?
Oh, yes, I did. Stacked on top of each other.
What the fuck is so amazing about those enchiladas?
I don't know. And here's the thing. When I make enchiladas, I don't stack them on top of each other like that.
No, you go next to each other.
How can they cook all the way through when they're like that? So, yeah.
And it's not like she's making her own sauce. I'll tell you, I have made my own enchilada sauce, and it takes for fucking ever.
Yes.
Like hours just to do the sauce. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing impressive about those enchiladas to me.
No.
So I think we need to stop making such a big deal. And then you see Janet making a big deal about the enchiladas. And you're like, this is why you're here. Ugh. And I did like that Brock was there also as they're hosting this party. He was wearing a pink Schwartz and Sandy's hat. And at that point, Schwartz and Sandy's was already done. Yeah. After. It's not vintage. I don't know. Everyone comes in and they're bitching about how the night before at the shark party, Zack got wasted and said something mean about another friend of theirs named Jared. And he didn't say Jared should fuck off, which is what he should have said. Instead, he said something really, really awful. And he says, yeah, I was wasted and I was being hyperbolic, which is one of my favorite words. And I enjoy people who are hyperbolic, but I like it more in a positive way. I think that Zack has some growing up to do, because just because you're wasted and just because you don't mean it, it's shitty to say these over-the-top things. It's fun to be shocking, but there's a certain point where it's like, okay, it's too much. Like, he's doing too much, and it's getting him into trouble, and he's getting all, irritated at everyone for getting on him for being hyperbolic, where it's like, okay, but enough is enough. I don't have the same energy for Zack about this specific situation. It's like, you didn't have to get wasted to talk shit about Jared to all the people that like him to try and make a big drama. And of course, Brittany came out.
Here's my problem. I'm going to stop you for a second. Here's my problem. Number one, who the fuck is Jared? Do I care? No.
I think he's the guy that was excited about her enchiladas that he's never had before because he used to be vegan. I think that's Jared.
Why do we care? We're talking about someone we don't know. We've never met.
He's not on the show. Or he was on the show for 2 seconds. Yeah.
Why the fuck do we care about this Jared person?
Mm-hmm.
Second, we would never know that Zack is saying these things if he didn't have shitty fucking friends that are opening their fucking pie hole and playing telephone.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're drunk, you say, or you can do, this is what happens when you're drunk. Mm-hmm. You say shitty things and you have a friend group and this is what happens. So I'm sorry, I'm on Zack's side again. He has shitty fucking friends that they shouldn't have opened their mouth and ran and told on him. That's what I'm saying. I'm on his side. If his friends didn't open their mouth and run around playing telephone.
I think, in general, you're right. This friend and this friend group and the shit talking that they are so happy to do.
Yeah. They're happy to tell on each other. And that's why Zack gets so frustrated. That's why he gets so emotional. That's why he feels like no one cares about him. That's why he feels like no one has his back, is because he feels like he can't literally say anything to these people because they will run around and tell everybody everything. Granted, everybody says everything about everyone, which is fine.
Well,
but
I understand his frustration. At the same time, he's also said, don't tell me anything you don't want me to tell to Kristen, because I'm going to tell Kristen and Brittany, because he's going to tell people too. So I think his biggest issue was that Brittany immediately scolded him.
Yeah.
And she went off and no one quite understood why. And Brittany's trying to explain the story to Brock. And then you've got fucking Janet in there just going, yeah, he's bad. He's so bad. I can't believe him. Janet, this literally had nothing to do with you.
Nothing to do with her at all.
She just wants to be part of everyone else's downfall. I don't know what... This isn't Highlander. Like, she's not going to be the last person standing. The show is not fun if everyone's in a feud and everyone's in odds and cannot come together at the end. And I don't get it. Like, that's exactly why Vanderpump fell apart at the end.
Yep.
That's why Real Housewives fell apart at the end. That's why OC fell apart. Like, we are doing this Valley reset for exactly that reason. And now Janet's coming in just trying to burn it all down. Mm-hmm. I'm so sick of her. And they also get into talking about the ring thing. And they had the conversation at the shark party, Janet and Jason and Jasmine and Kristen. They had that whole conversation at the shark party, put a kibosh on it. It's fine. Everyone's ready to move on. They kind of laughed it off like, obviously it's not real. And then when they got home later that night, Janet and Jason were telling the funny story of like, oh my God, listen to this crazy rumor. And that upset Janet's mom, and she started to cry a little bit. And the more that they talked about it, the more they got upset about it. And they've also decided that this rumor was not only being passed around by Jasmine, but Jasmine made it up. And so they are like full on super pissed at Jasmine. And she's now the one that's in trouble, which
makes no sense.
And Janet's going on this tirade, ripping Jasmine apart, ripping Zack apart. Basically, it comes out that Jasmine didn't even come to the party at Brock and Scheana's for the enchiladas because Janet was going to be there. Yeah. And Janet's just talking a lot of shit and got really upset and angry. Yeah. And then Brock was like, hey, Janet, are you done? Are you done now? Can we? And that was, thank you, Brock. He's like, we're trying to eat. Yeah. We're done. So that's 1 point for Brock. At the same time, Zack and Luke and Kristen are having the conversation, and basically like what you said, he's feeling abandoned by Brittany and he can't believe that everyone went after him. Yeah. And While I think that he has a point, all of them are doing what they're getting attacked for, what Zack's getting attacked for right now, and for what Jasmine's going to be attacked for at the beach day. They've been doing to other people.
Yeah, they have.
So, yeah, you're right. Do you see yourself in what's happening to you? I don't think they do yet.
Yeah.
Is the problem. So then they do a beach day, and they drove like an hour and a half to get to the beach.
Yeah.
And all they're doing is sitting in the sand.
I know. But we get to see Aaron, Big Eyes Aaron, in his fluffy hat, watching everybody next to Michelle, not contributing at all.
Contributing nothing.
It was amazing.
Do you prefer Aaron sitting there looking weird, contributing nothing, or Luke accidentally contributing but not well, like actively trying too hard, contributing but he's trying too hard so it doesn't feel genuine?
Oh no, Aaron right. By a mile.
We prefer our men quiet. Yeah. Seen and not heard.
Yes, with the fuzzy hat and the bug eyes. That was amazing.
It was so weird. They're all sitting around the fire. Brittany's excited because she has a date after. She looked real cute, and she's about to go out on a date. In the after show, they were asking about this guy, and we're getting some background on the guy. He's a dad, and he has a real job, and he's super motivated, and he does things like texts her good morning. The bar is in hell.
Right. It couldn't be any lower.
No, she's like, he didn't throw a single table at me. Like, it's so sad. But here's the thing. I have single sisters, and watching them date online, it is, yeah, these guys are not, like, they're barely doing shit.
Sure.
It's so depressing. One sister actually has a new boyfriend who I really like. And Matt and I have so much in common with him that I'm going to be mad at her if it doesn't work out.
Aww.
Isn't that sad? No, yeah. I don't mean it. I mean it a little. So things are all testy because we have just about everybody there.
Yeah.
The only person that isn't there is Jesse, which ideal, honestly. So no Jesse and no Jax.
And no Zack, yeah.
Oh,
and
right.
Nia and Danny, yeah.
Okay, so there's a lot of people not there. Take it back. But we had extras because we had Quiet Aaron, and then we had Brock and Scheana.
And Lala.
Good. And Lala. Mm-hmm. Who Lala's just sitting there on her phone the whole time. Lala added nothing.
Yeah.
She had nothing to add. And which, delightful. Because she's either, I want Lala doing nothing, or I want her ripping Jesse apart, and otherwise I'm not interested, honestly.
Yeah.
And she was just on her phone the whole time.
Yeah.
But Janet and Jason are on their own going, should we talk about her? Should we talk to Janet? Like, I'm not going to talk to her. She should talk to me first. She owes us an apology. I'm not going to. And so they're doing that for probably like an hour. And then we have Kristen and Luke and Jasmine going, what the fuck is their problem? Because Janet keeps making these little snide remarks. She's like, oh, I brought a metal detector, and maybe Jason should take off his ring. And then they get upset. And then actually it's funny because one too many nasty little comments from Janet, and Jasmine and Kristen go walk and have a conversation. And during that conversation was the biggest moneymaker part of this episode. Did you see that? Did I send that to you?
Oh, yes. Yes.
The guy that was like, Scheana is playing 3D chess. I'm stealing this random guy that I saw. I can't remember what his name is.
Yes.
But he was like, Scheana is playing 3D chess. And rewatching the episode, Janet's just sitting there feeding the opener for Scheana to talk about butt sex. Janet even asked, she's like, have you ever done it in the butt? And you're like, why is she doing this? It was so awkward. And it made no sense.
Yeah.
Because they're playing Truth or Dare, and it's like, where's the craziest sex you've ever had? And
yeah.
She was like missionary with Jason. That's a weird thing to say. They've said missionary more than once, that's their favorite.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was something that people actually picked. And if that's a bit, that's a boring bit.
Yeah.
I don't like it. Anyway, they're talking about how big is Brock's penis. And Brock is very casual when Scheana's like, he's not huge, but his girth is great. And he's very like, yeah, I'm a grower, not a shower. It's fine. She's like, it fits perfectly in all my holes.
Yeah. Yes.
But then she's like, but it's big enough to give me hemorrhoids. And everyone's like, what the fuck? Who says that?
Yeah.
Who admits to that? And then she's like, and then I got pregnant, and then I had hemorrhoids again. LOL. That episode dropped on Tuesday night. Wednesday morning, Scheana has a video out sponsored by Preparation H.
Yeah.
So the question is did Scheana set this... What the fuck, cats? Did Scheana set this up before... Which it kind of sounds like, because Janet was being so forceful with it, and Brittany was the one that was like, we should play Truth or Dare, and they're like, we don't want to play Truth or Dare, and then they get pushed into it. Or is she just so smart that she was like, I need to call Preparation H and try and set this up after they talked about hemorrhoids in the show?
Yeah.
I think that she was like, if I can bring up hemorrhoids in the Valley, will you guys give me a brand deal?
Yeah.
I mean, she's got to get her bills paid. What a way to do it. If you have not seen her Preparation H video, it's the Science by Scheana. Go look at her Instagram and learn a little bit about hemorrhoids. I carried twins and I did not have hemorrhoids. So I don't know if that's a flex, but I'm going to feel like it is.
And my response to you was, Scheana could not walk in the Sports Illustrated swimsuit show like Stassi. Oh, so she had to get a brand deal. And this was her brand deal. Because Scheana has to be just right up there with Stassi at all times. All times. Scheana cannot be left out at anything.
No. And Stassi's written a few bestsellers at this point. And then you have Scheana's that just came out. And I don't think it's done terribly well. And no one gives and she's like, well, I'm going to talk shit about Lisa Vanderpump.
Yeah.
I'm like, can you afford to lose that relationship?
Yeah.
Can you? And she's just burned that bridge.
Oy.
Oh. Embarrassing. Yeah, Stassi looked amazing. And then Bethany looked good. Good for her. I don't think she's a good person. Maybe she's a good person. I don't even know anymore. What's your stance on Bethany Frankel?
She's not a good person. Okay. There you go.
No. All right. Well, we know where you stand. So as they're having their drama, Jason goes, listen, I am going to talk to Jasmine directly. There's too many J names in this. I am going to talk to Jasmine because maybe something has gotten lost in the grapevine. We need to just be direct and see if we can have this conversation. And Janet's like, fine. So they get up and he goes, hey, Jasmine, can we have a conversation? She starts to explain herself. And Janet's going, well, who told you this? When was this? How many years ago? Yes. And it becomes this very intense interrogation. And Jasmine snaps immediately. Yeah. And I honestly think this is going to be one of those moments that goes down as what's one of your favorite moments of Valley history? Because Jasmine, it was so perfect, and I don't think she had planned that. Yeah. Do you think I don't think she could have.
No, I don't think she planned it at all. This is perfect for someone putting Janet in her place. 100%.
Shitty-ass friend. Yeah. Shitty-ass friend, vibe killer, Karen energy.
Yes.
And then Janet's like, let's go. Let's just go. Yep. And they do. And then they're screaming. Yeah. Jason, I feel like his emotions were so heightened in this. I didn't really understand why he couldn't see that his wife was sitting there egging this whole thing on. Yeah. When you sit there and you poke someone over and over and over again, and then you can't be shocked. Janet was doing it in front of his face, and he still was like, she's out of control. And then he called Jasmine the snake. Yeah. All of this ring thing apparently comes from another group of friends who had stopped being friends with Jason because of Janet. Yes. And they talked shit. Jasmine will not say their names because she's not a snitch. I don't know. Say the name. If they're not friends, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
This is the whole point of the show. Zack is going to tell everybody. Kristen's going to tell everybody. Luke's going to accidentally tell everybody. Danny's going to say some shit. Like, just say it. We're already hearing about Jared, who's not even on the show. So, like, tell us the other people who don't matter.
Yeah.
Right?
Here's the thing. Janet is one of those people who is going to isolate her husband away from all of his friends because she is a narcissist and she wants her husband to have no one but her. No one. And she is a psychopath and really scary. I think she's a really scary person because she did this with Danny. Jason and Danny were friends, and then she got in the middle of that and forced Jason to get in this weird, awkward fight with Danny that he didn't want to do. And he tried to apologize, and that was weird. And now he's doing that with Jasmine, where Jason and Jasmine were really good friends. And then Janet gets in the middle of their friendship. And now he's calling her a snake in the grass, where he looks like he doesn't want to have this fight with Jasmine. But Janet's in the middle of it now. So she's just completely isolating him from all his friends.
Right. I think it's when his relationship with someone becomes closer than her relationship with someone.
Yep.
She needs to be the number one guy in the group.
Yeah.
And when that is threatened, she takes him out. Mm-hmm. Because Nia, I don't think, was ever really going to be friends with Janet.
Oh, no.
Like, they're just never going to meet up on the same vibe.
No.
Nia's friends with Kristen. I don't even totally get that. I think it's that they're both trying to be more whole people. Yeah. You know, when you're like, I'm in therapy and this is what I learned from my therapist. That's like half of what I text Keeley. I'm like, this is what I learned from my therapist today. Yeah. When you're both on that journey, I guess you could be two totally different people and you're like, ooh, we're trying to do these things. I think maybe that's what they connect on. And Nia and Michelle, that makes sense. Nia and Brittany, I don't even think they're that connected anymore. But Danny's connected to people. So it was like when Janet wasn't going to get the relationship from Nia that she wanted. Yeah. And Danny was closer than she was with Nia. I think she's like, burn it down. Yeah. I don't even know that she's consciously doing it. I feel like that's what we keep seeing.
I think she's consciously doing it. I think 100% she's doing it on purpose. She apparently did it with this friend group that Jasmine's talking about. Yeah.
So, I mean, a whole group of people that other people are still friends with. Yeah. So they stomp off the beach. Mm-hmm. And that's the end of that. Brittany did go on a date with that guy, and she's very excited about it. They're hanging out at a coffee shop all together the next day. Nia, Kristen, Zack, and Brittany. And she's telling everybody about the great date. And they're questioning why that fight happened. Again, because they're like, why did this turn into something that they had laughed it off before and then it escalated? Yeah. And now they're bringing it all back again. Especially when Jasmine's like, it doesn't make any sense. Jasmine, do you remember when you were telling everyone how awful Danny was? And then you apologized, you squashed it, and then you brought it up again? Yeah. That's true. This feels like another version of that, but now it's happening in her direction. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then we have Zack confronting Brittany about how she goes after him. And he said, you know, when Jax would do something bad or Jax would be out of pocket, you try and hide it and you would excuse it. When Janet does something like that, oh, poor Janet, like she's just got XYZ going on. But when I do something, you sit there and chastise me. And Brittany said that she does that to everyone. And she's like, if I think someone's wrong, I tell them that they're in the wrong. I don't know if that's true, though.
No, 100% that's not true.
I think that she takes Zack for granted. I really do.
I think she's afraid of Janet. I said this episode 1. She is afraid of Janet. And that's what her friendship base with Janet is about. 100%. I can see that from a mile away. She will run to Janet the second anything she sniffs out or hears anything about Janet, good or bad, because she's afraid of her.
What is it? I need someone to investigate this.
I don't know, but Brittany is starting to be on my shit list. I'm starting to not like her right now.
I would prefer that she goes like, I have too much shit on my plate and I'm just going to back away. Like Michelle has.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yep.
You could be the glue that holds it all together, but you don't have to be involved.
Yeah.
She could just back away from it. And I think that would be so much better. Because I think that Brittany is 100% a victim in all this Jack shit. And I think she has got to be completely overwhelmed.
Yep.
But you can't get involved in the other shit that's happening and then be shocked that, if you take a side, people are going to be pissed at you. Yeah. When you're not on their side. Mm-hmm. Especially when they're babysitting your kid so you can go to a party that they weren't invited to.
Right. Right.
I think you have to start siding with Zack more. And if you decided I'm totally going Team Janet, she needs to stop gaslighting Zack.
Yeah.
Going like, why are you upset? I was on your side too. Like, no, you fucking weren't.
Yep. No, I completely agree with that.
Nia and Danny. We don't really see too much of them, but we do get to see them go to a spa. Mm-hmm. And they get like a lymphatic drainage spa treatment. I swear to God, I'm going to kill this cat. Oh, it's so cute, but it's so loud. Okay. So they go to the spa and they do the lymphatic drainage treatment. And I had actually almost gotten a lymphatic drainage add-on for my birthday, but then I decided not to. And I got a scalp massage instead, and it was incredible. And I'm so glad that I didn't get lymphatic drainage because that looked fucking painful.
It did.
That looked awful.
It did. I've never had one, and it looked terrible.
That's what Darcy and Stacy do with the rolly thingies.
Yeah.
I would like to look better, but I don't know that I'm willing to be in pain for it.
Yeah. I feel like you'd get a bruise. Maybe one or two from that.
And then Nia's just like, just let it happen. Embrace the positivity of the moment. Just
my God.
Absorb the good. Mm-hmm. And then they have another conversation about kids versus house, and she wants to have a baby soon. She's like, you can't get a mommy makeover if you're going to have another kid.
Yeah.
I like how direct she is with that.
That's fair.
Because isn't the mommy makeover, like, it's
the whole thing.
A specific set of surgeries to get it.
Yep.
I didn't bother. Because I'm fine. This is all fine.
Good for you.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
So Janet and Jason, they go back to their house. You're watching them the next day after they had that giant fight with Jasmine. And both of them are teary and just so upset. And Janet's in the ball pit with her son with a glass of white wine.
Fake crying, I'd like to add.
Yeah, it's not terribly believable.
No.
Jason actually emotionally distraught. Janet was like, I don't understand why she's so angry at me. And it feels like a breakup. Who would say these horrible things? And it's like, yeah, she has genuine contempt for Janet. I think Janet has done a lot of little petty shit, and everyone's just slowly getting really fucking sick of it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the whole world is. Everybody's over Janet, and Janet is going on social media and podcasts and radios and shows saying, why? What do you mean? I don't understand. Well, I don't understand why people don't like me. Are you serious? Stop it.
So the main public complaint about Janet as well is that she is a fan that kind of wormed her way in. And Scheana's like, no, we just became friends. And Janet's like, yeah, I loved the show. And just naturally, we also happened to become very close friends. Here's the thing. I would 100%, if I was Janet, even if I'm just as myself, if I could get on the Valley and hang out with them and just be around this nonsense, I'd be the villain for that. I think that would be so fun. I would totally do it.
A normal person, a person that does not live in LA, was she from Ohio?
I think so, yeah.
Ohio, moves to LA and just happens to become friends with Scheana. I'm sorry. If I live in Boise, Idaho, I moved to LA and I happen to become friends with Scheana, I'm sorry, there's something funky there. something fishy doesn't smell right.
No. I think we know too much about their lives. And I'm going to be honest, I don't think it's that hard to be friends with Scheana. I think you share your iPhone location. Right. And I think you agree with everything she says.
Right.
And you go, oh my God, these enchiladas are incredible.
Right.
These are like magic. You must do something special. And the answer is she stacks them. Yeah, I mean, and it's also 100% fine. I would be doing the same thing. I would 100% do the same thing.
Ugh.
She doesn't have a job, right? Like, she's just a full-time mom now.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
She got pregnant and was just like, I'm just going to mom full-time.
Right.
Ow. Oh, my God. I just got attacked. I've been attacked. Not by this one. This one's perfect.
Nope.
I'm just going to say it again. I'm fostering kittens, and that is why it is so noisy in the background of all of our podcasts. I do try and mute out what I can, but there's only so much I can do. So after they get done crying about their breakup with Jasmine, apparently, and I will let you are the forensic investigator in this, but Jason has been getting like 5 phone calls from Jax that he has missed because they were having this very intense conversation about Jasmine. And he's like, I gotta call him back. He's at rehab. So she's like, okay, I'm gonna sit next to you, but just pretend I'm not here. That is a good marriage, I think. Because that's 100%. If you're having a conversation with Matt, I am right next to him. If there's juicy gossip, he's not, I'm just put it on speaker. Put it on speaker. I can't tell you how often I'm like, speaker. Because he's not going to relay anything correctly.
Nice.
I'm sitting there texting him the questions that he should be asking. So, again, I am pissed at Janet. I would be doing the same fucking thing. So Jason calls Jax, and Jax is talking about how, while overall things are good for him to be there, also it's been really hard, and he's starting to realize he did just completely lose it when he found out that Brittany was with his best friend. But also, he's like, I was pushing her away as well. You think, sir? And he goes, I was pushing her away as well, and I didn't even realize it. And she let me get away with so much, and she let me treat her so poorly and didn't ever say anything to me about it. I was like, that's not exactly how it happened. He's like, she should have left me so much sooner. He somehow is like, I take full accountability because I was awful. She shouldn't have let me keep doing it. I wish she would have said something to me so I would have stopped.
And then blames her, right? So.
He blames her for his mistreatment of her escalating.
Yeah.
It was like, well, she let me get away with XYZ, so I thought I could throw a table at her.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
And Janet and Jason are sitting there going,
mm-hmm.
yeah,
mm-hmm.
yeah, good. It
mm-hmm.
seems like he's really getting it.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time we've really heard you take full accountability.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, we all just heard him blame Brittany for letting him get away with treating her poorly. What?
What is happening?
And Jason says, it's really amazing what you've just done and taking accountability. I think if you really do want to start making it up to Brittany, I think the first thing you need to do is help her with this mortgage situation. She's really freaked out. And Jax is like, yeah, well, I'm giving her all the money for the podcast until I've paid everything off because I don't just have the cash to make ourselves right or even or whatever. And they're like, well, that's great. Good job. And then they get off the phone and Janet and Jason are like, wow, what a great job he's done. Which, during the conversation, it was bullshit. Jason is supposed to be a lawyer. Aren't you supposed to sniff all of this out?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, but do you want to tell us
he
the
lives
extra
with
bullshit?
Psycho anyway, but well,
that's true.
Yeah. So if you're watching the show, so first of all, Jason is not in the boys group chat because he apparently has an Android phone and not an iPhone. So number one. Number two, Jason says, well, Jax is calling and texting me I am going to FaceTime Jax. Well, you can't FaceTime on an Android. You can only FaceTime on an iPhone. So we see Jason FaceTime Jax on an iPhone. The iPhone is a light colored phone. And then we see it cut away to Janet watching the conversation. Then it cuts back to Jason. Now he's talking to Jax on a dark colored Android phone, FaceTiming.
But you only see it from the back.
Right. We only see it from the back. And then it cuts back to Janet, cuts back to Jason, and it's back on this tan colored iPhone. So it does this back and forth a couple of times. And so I sent you a couple of clips from Facebook and TikTok that people are noticing this. I noticed it too, saying that it's either a fake conversation or it's been edited pretty poorly, that Jax is not in rehab, that maybe he's at his condo and filming this or something like that.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I don't think he's really there anymore because he's been all over the place.
Yeah.
He's out signing leases. He's going to the gym.
Yeah.
It's bullshit.
So you brought up the fact that maybe Jason was using Janet's iPhone, which is plausible and completely fine. Totally fine. And if that were the fact, then why doesn't Jason use Janet's iPhone the entire time?
The whole fucking time. Just use it the whole time.
Right. So why is the shot being cut back and forth between the two Android, iPhone? Why are we seeing two different shots? I don't quite understand the editing there.
No. And here's the deal. I know that the people that are making that show, those producers, are making fucking bank. That show has made so much money.
Yeah.
So just let us suspend the disbelief.
Yeah.
You can't have someone there making sure the consistency is there.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do. You just got to make sure that it's consistent for us, the viewers.
Yeah.
Because we are nitpicking everything that they do from head to toe.
Yeah.
Just make him hold the same phone.
Yeah.
We know that they re-record. This isn't new.
Yeah.
We all know that in Vanderpump, the famous scene where Tom Schwartz pours a beer all over Katie Maloney.
Yeah.
Did that actually happen? Yes, but they didn't get a camera on it.
Yeah.
So everyone else went back to their hotels, and the cameras made Katie Maloney get a beer poured over her by her boyfriend again.
Yeah.
And she did it.
Yeah.
Because she is smart and she got paid.
Yeah.
But some continuity.
Yeah.
Somebody should be watching for basic continuity here.
Yeah. Here's the thing with me. I don't honestly believe that Jax took responsibility for anything. But the show wants the world to think that for some fucked up reason. So
because Lisa Vanderpump is a producer.
I don't know.
And she is a male apologist.
Yeah. Yeah.
She wants the women to stay with these men that she has deemed her little babies for whatever fucking reason.
Yeah.
Look at James. Did you hear, side note, did you hear Allie talk about when Lisa Vanderpump had called her after James assaulted her?
I did not.
Okay. Are you ready to get mad?
Oh.
So a day or two after the news broke that James had assaulted Allie ended up not pressing charges. And she got a call from Lisa Vanderpump. We know that he picked Allie up and threw her on the ground. Yeah. Lisa Vanderpump knows this as well. We all found out at the same time.
Yes. And
she told Allie that he is an alcoholic.
Yeah.
And he is trying to do better, and he is slipped up, but it's Allie's job to stay by him. And Allie needed to support him. So if you're Allie, and you're having Lisa Vanderpump, who's been so supportive of you and your boyfriend, and helped your career, and literally given you tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
and you hear that, do you brush that off? She was like, I didn't even know. And she's like, what, 24, 25?
Yeah.
Just fucking angry at Lisa Vanderpump. But keep the shows, and if I ever go to Vegas again, I will be going to a restaurant.
Yeah. And that example is why victims do not come forward for years or at all with any of their stories because of stuff like that. Because they don't want to be viewed a certain way. They don't want people to think a certain way. It's
and I think
horrible.
They also spend so much time blaming themselves.
Yeah.
And questioning if they really are a victim or not.
Yeah.
And Allie 100% was a victim.
Right.
In that situation.
Right. But then you have someone of Lisa Vanderpump's stature and wealth and celebrity looking at her, talking to her, making excuses for James, the actual predator, and talking to a victim, turning a predator into a victim. And that's not okay.
Which I think is what's happening on the Valley right now.
Oh, God,
in the show.
Yeah.
Look at him, he's trying. Look at how hard he's trying.
Right.
And he's doing all of these things. Listen to everything he professes to be doing. And it's just bullshit. It's awful.
No. Yeah. Speaking of, we go to Brittany's house.
Oh my God. So she's at the house that she owns with Jax. I think her mom has kind of been staying there off and on, and she's been going back and forth since Jax has been in rehab.
Yeah.
However, since Jax has been in rehab or the mental facility or whatever the fuck this place is that lets him do whatever the fuck he wants, he's been going back and forth too.
Yeah.
So he took a bunch of the little papers or whatever they had used for the security cameras.
Yeah.
He had unblocked all of them, but also they have these super, super high ceilings. And he also hid the ladders so Brittany can't cover them back up again.
Childish. Yeah.
So, and he's been spying on her. Brittany FaceTimes Jax's sister. So, one, to give Jax's sister an update, and also so that Jax's sister can see Cruz.
And just so you know, in my profession, that's called stalking.
Well, at this point, has she even gotten a lawyer yet?
No.
I don't think so. So she's just dealing with it and dealing with it and dealing with it.
Yeah.
But she calls Jax's sister and she starts explaining to her that she's being watched, and she's explaining to her, oh, by the way, and my rings are missing.
Yeah.
Like my wedding band and my engagement ring are just gone and I have no idea where they are. And then the producer, it's so insidious. The producer comes and goes,
in the shot. Walks in the shot. We've never seen that before. Never heard these producers. Never seen them before. Right. Yep.
Fully breaking the fourth wall.
Yep.
And she's like, you need to see what Jax just sent me.
Yeah.
And Jax sends to the producer that Brittany is being so childish. So somehow he can also hear what's going on.
Yeah.
And he's not texting that to Brittany.
Nope.
He's not texting that to his sister. He's texting that to a producer. What the fuck and why is he doing that? And also, Brittany's saying, I don't have, the security cameras that we have don't have sound. So she dismisses it.
Yeah.
And it's like, he can clearly hear you. He can hear you. And she's like, he's bugged the house? I don't think he did. And it's like, you have proof right in front of you that he has done this. I think she's so overwhelmed that she can't process it. He clearly has bugged the house. So he's listened to every conversation that she's had in that house.
Yeah.
That's fucking weird.
Yeah.
It's creepy as shit. And he wants to make sure that everyone knows that he's able to do this. And the security cameras that they have, I have security cameras around our house. I'll be honest, it's mostly because we want to see the weird animals that walk around our house at night.
Yeah.
All of those have sound to them. And I don't have the fanciest version. The version that they have in their house looks expensive. Yeah. I think that he just never told her that those have sound before. Like, she doesn't know how to access it.
Valid. I think you're right.
So not only, the wedding bands are missing. He's stalking her. And then in the middle of her trying to have a conversation with Jax's sister's like, oh, he's calling me. I've got to go. And she's like, yeah, talk to him. I'll talk to you later. I'll catch up. And then she immediately gets a call back. Jax is in the hospital because he's having a heart attack. He's having heart palpitations. They're rushing him to the emergency room. And that's got his sister freaked out because their dad just died of a heart attack. Everyone in their family dies at like 60. All the men in their family are dying of 60 of heart attacks. And he's been doing cocaine for the last 20 years.
Right.
Nonstop. So now his sister's terrified that they're doing that. And their conversation's what set him off. So it's their fault.
Yeah, of course it's her fault. Of course, because Brittany put the stickers and the cards back up on top of the camera, and the conversation coupled with that. Now his blood pressure, and so it's her fault. So he's going to die because of that.
I thought he was in a facility.
Why to help
is
him.
No one overseeing him? That's $30,000 for 1 month, and they can't help him deal with, hey, you've got to stop stalking your wife.
Yeah.
No one's going, there's no oversight at all for this.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's fucking bullshit.
Yeah, and in California is a two-way law with recording, meaning both sides have to have consent to be filmed. Hello. Yeah. So she can do something with that.
And then, as all that's also happening, she gets an email from Jax. There was just like something after another. And the email says, hey, I talked to our bank and we are in foreclosure on the house. So since I just got the condo, you're fully in charge of the mortgage from this point on. Can you do that?
Unbelievable. And which I think maybe I just picked up on, in the after show, she is paying for his back taxes as well. He's not doing that. She's doing that. What a fucking dickhead that she is having to pay for his back taxes that he just decided that I'm not going to pay for. I mean, this man is so incredibly financially abusive that I can't even get over, and still blames everything on her.
And he was so fucking tight with their money and forced her to keep everything separate. She wasn't the one that wanted everything financially separate. Yeah. He's the one that wanted everything financially separate. Yeah. And he was so shitty on her and micromanaging of her spending. Yeah. Why was he like that? Because he was projecting. Yeah. Because he was spending all of his shit on
coke,
drugs, and bullshit, like coolers that you can use as mopeds. Oh. Do you remember this? He was attacking her for doing the things that he was doing. Yeah. She wasn't actually doing it. It's nuts. Yeah. Do you remember in season 1 when they were going to the charity event and he jumps down her throat about how she can't donate a bunch of money at this charity event? Oh, yeah. For their friend who needed a kidney transplant. Yeah. And he's like, don't spend money, you just bought 2 purses. And she's like, yeah, and I can afford to also give it this.
I can do what I want. Yep.
So it does come out that they have that podcast. Yep. And I think we talked, did we talk about it this time? The RSS feed. Yeah. So their podcast is worth like $1 million. Yeah. I mean, our podcast, I think, is worth at least tens of dollars. And it's so crazy to me that they're making a shit ton of money. She got the $2 million from Jenny Craig, but she's like hustling. She is out there doing what she has to do. The boyfriend or the guy that she's seeing now, she met him hosting a bachelorette event at the bar that she and Jax opened. Yeah. I mean, she is hustling. And we know that Jax is as well with his eBay and like all whatever else. And his
mascara.
And his mascara. And then also remember he did the hairline. He was going bald.
Oh, yes.
And so he partnered with whatever that company was. Yeah. But he's telling everybody like what he's done. He's giving her the RSS feed. And for some people, he's saying that he just handed it all over to her. Other people, he's like, that's all hers until the money is paid back.
Right. He can't keep his lies straight because he can't keep his lies straight. One after show, he said he paid off the mortgage. This after show, he said he's given her the RSS feed to pay the mortgage. She's like, he hasn't done shit. I'm doing it all. Like, I mean, figure it out.
He said that he's sent her $25,000 to $30,000 over the last few months. Brittany said that he's not doing anything and that she asked him for $5,000 and then he sent her $3,000 after multiple times of her asking.
Yeah.
And he said, I'll send you 3 and then I'll send the rest eventually, and then never sent her anymore.
No, stop. None of that is true.
So she finally has a lawyer, and I hope that lawyer has told her that she needs to hire a financial investigator.
Yeah.
I Googled it. It could take anywhere from like $2,000 up to like $35,000 in a divorce.
Oh, yeah.
I have a feeling it'll be in the far end. But if she's getting millions of dollars of deals for her podcast, which now her podcast is its own thing and Jax's podcast is his own thing. If she's making money, that will be money well spent. I want her to get everything fully separated. I want her to stop having to pay his taxes.
Sick.
Jax is fucking gross, and I don't know how he keeps getting away with it. Mm-hmm. And I remember reading that he had gotten fired from the show because Ring camera footage came out, and then I'm wondering if that was fake, because I haven't seen anything to substantiate it.
Yeah, me either.
Lala had a podcast with Brittany, and they had talked about the Ring camera footage, but they weren't saying that he was fired. But then there was a rumor going around. I don't know if that is true or not.
Yeah.
Part of me doesn't want it to be true because I need him to be able to make money to pay his wife back. Mm-hmm. And I'll still watch him on TV. I'll hate him, but I'll watch him on TV.
Awful.
But at this point, I would rather watch Tom Sandoval on TV.
Oh, my God.
How angry is Tom Sandoval that, like, no one gives a shit about him anymore?
Well, speaking of a Tom, how funny does Tom Schwartz look in the after show? He looks like he's being held at gunpoint while everybody else talks. Like, why am I here? And what do I say? I mean, it just kind of cracks me up when they cut away to him and he's not quite sure what comment to make.
Oh no, he is so uncomfortable. You can see him in his mind going, don't react to this.
Right. What do I say?
Such clearly bullshit. And every once in a while he'll very gently call Jax out on a lie.
Yeah.
Or be like, I think you need to chill out with like what your horrible thing you're saying about Brittany this time. Yeah. So Jax is he's a fucking monster. And it makes me, I'm going to victim blame. It makes me irritated at Brittany that she's yelling at Zack for being hyperbolic when she should be getting a fucking lawyer.
Yeah. No, I agree. That's why she's bugging me right now. Yeah, she's on my shit list right now for that.
Just the shit that she needs to deal with, and I feel like she's looking everywhere else. Yeah. And maybe that's actually justice for Brittany. I do love Brittany, and I want the best for her in all of this. But I genuinely think, is this a self-preservation mechanism? Is she just going, I can't look at how horrible this is, so I'm going to look at something else? I think we've all been in those phases, and this is like a giant house on fire situation.
Yeah.
It was probably in real time 10 minutes of, oh my God, he has taken off all of the cameras so he can spy on me. Also, he hid the ladder so I can't fix this. Also, somehow he's listening to us as well. Also, he stole my rings.
Which he said that he told her, which is another lie. I mean, come on.
Tried to, at first, sell them back to Kyle Chan, who designed them, which Jessica was like, you can't do that. They were a gift. Like, you don't get to be the one that does it. And he goes, well, fine, it's fine. It doesn't even matter. I put them in a trust for Cruz.
Yeah.
Don't believe that for a second.
No.
I don't believe it for a second.
No. Yeah.
If he still has them, which I doubt he does.
I don't think so either.
But if he still has them, he's going to pretend he lost them.
Oh, sure.
He will not be giving those back to her.
No.
And I hope she goes after him for the price of those too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because that was not cheap.
No, it was like $70,000 is what I heard.
Ugh. Kyle Chan, good for him for getting on this show, because I think he's done everybody's rings on the show. Holy shit. Yeah. I don't believe anything he says, and I just want to see bad things happen to him. So I hope they keep recording him. I hope he wasn't fired so I can keep seeing bad things happen to him.
Oh my God.
All right. Well, now that we're all worked up from that, I think we need to do some true crime story time.
True crime story time.
We should make a little song. Somebody's got to make a song for us. This is an HBO one.
Oh my gosh, it's so disturbing. So it's a 3-part series, and I wish they did not all come out. I keep checking every single day, but I don't know.
Sundays. It comes out Sundays.
It's called The Mortician. Oh my God. It is so much worse than I thought it was going to be watching it. But it is about just a lovely, lovely gentleman we get to meet named David Sconce and his family, but mostly about David. So we get to meet David, and David is being released from prison. He's serving this prison stint was 10 years after a series of incarcerations. They don't really tell us what the series of incarcerations were. But he's in the Mule Creek State Prison in California, but he gets out, he gets paroled. So it's 2023 when he gets out. So we get to meet this fine gentleman. His backstory is, his grandfather is Lawrence Lamb, and he owns the Lamb Funeral Home in Pasadena, California. And he grew up spending time at the mortuary with his grandparents. So the people in Pasadena trusted this family. The Lamb family was well known. And this mortuary basically was the only one in Pasadena. It was well known. Everybody went there. Everybody used it. And the Lamb family was a pretty prominent family in Pasadena. He started the funeral home in the 1920s, and his dad, Charlie, took it over in the 1950s. Charlie had a daughter, Lori Ann, and Lori got married to Jerry Sconce, and Lori Ann and Jerry had David. So that's where David comes in the picture. So that's in the 1980s. His mom was the queen for the football parade. And then his dad, Jerry, was a high school football coach. And then David said he played football until he hurt his ankle. And then his family took over the funeral home in the 1980s. And when David hurt his ankle, they said, hey, you need to go to mortuary school because we have the mortuary. We want you to take it over. And he was like, I guess okay. I didn't really think about it, but since I can't play football anymore, I guess I'll go do that. They tell you about the funeral business. It's pretty lucrative, right? I mean, everybody dies, right? There's always going to be a funeral business.
And Pasadena's pretty big. And they said the people that worked for them when they first started working, they were shocked at how many people actually died every day.
Yeah.
Because it was, the numbers are a lot higher than you would think.
Yeah. And a funeral is the next biggest expense you're going to have next to buying a car or a home. They talk about a little bit of the background of the funeral and the religious background of undertakers and morticians. They started to model themselves after doctors and lawyers, and they would, dress nice in suits. They would dress the part. And then it started to become a family-run business. The funeral business became a multi-billion-dollar business every year. After a while, the funeral service became so expensive, cremation came into as a lower cost part of the funeral. Mm-hmm. So then certain funeral homes didn't have a crematorium. They would have to use a mortuary that had a crematorium. So the Lamb Funeral Home had their own crematorium on Mountain View Cemetery. So another family owned the cemetery that their crematorium was on. David Sconce, who the story is about, went to mortuary school, and his family, the Lamb family, said, okay, you can run the crematorium that's on this cemetery land. So he's like, oh, okay, cool. So they let him have full control over this crematorium. when he was in mortuary school, he started asking people, how much do you guys charge for cremations? And people were saying, $200, $350 a body. And he was like, I can do that for a lot less. He thought, I'm going to just charge a lot less. I'm going to offer services and get more bodies for a lot less services and see how that goes. The family that owned the cemetery started to notice that the crematorium was getting more business. So David had just a van. There was 2 chambers or ovens inside the crematorium. The family would notice, right, that the smokestack would go up a couple of times a day, 2 or 3 times a week. They started, it was 10 cremations a week or so. And so in 1980, I guess, technically the family took over the mortuary and the crematorium. And this was in 1982 when David was the sole owner and the operator of this crematorium. And he said he would just drive around from Santa Barbara to San Diego, which is quite a drive. Going from mortuary to mortuary, hospitals and, nursing homes and all of these places to pick up these bodies. And he said there was a cost, right? He had the cost of the cardboard container to put the body in and the cost of the diesel fuel for the cremation, for the oven, and the box was $5.
Right.
And the diesel fuel was less than that. Right?
Ugh. And the part that was crazy to me is that we end up finding out, I'm sure we're going to find out a lot more about this. One body goes in and you burn it, and it takes 2 hours for the body to totally burn. And then it takes another 2 hours for the oven to cool all the way down so that then you can take out the ashes. So he should have been, with the 4 chambers, he could probably get, I think they said 8 bodies done a day.
Yeah.
If he was very well organized.
Yeah, and he was charging $55. Everybody else was charging, like I said, between the $250 and the $300. And so people were really excited about this $55 charge. He was getting quite a lot of business. He started to hire people to help him retrieve these bodies. These former football players, they would drive to go get the bodies, come back to the crematorium, and put the bodies in there. They said in 1981, before David took over the crematorium, the cremations in the entire year of 1981, they did 194 cremations for the whole year. In 1982, when David took over, they did 1,675 cremations. So something is up.
The math
is not
mathing.
Yes. So, we meet the people that David is hiring, and they're describing quite intimately how this whole process is working. David has these kind of meat hooks inside the crematorium that he's using to grab the body, put it inside the oven. He's paying these guys $6,000 a month because he's making so much money.
I mean, $6,000 a month now would be great.
Yeah.
That's insane. And these guys that he's hiring are combination of ex-football players.
Yeah.
He's an ex-football player.
Yeah.
He's really interested in big meaty guys, or crossover with some of these guys that are from LA.
Yeah.
That are in gangs.
Yeah.
These kind of gang members. And there's this very specific kind of dude that they're getting involved in that, and they're doing these jobs. Some of them are on drugs while they're doing it, and I think that's what you need to stomach what the stuff that they're doing. But also he's so nonchalant about it that I guess they watch him do it and you go, oh, I guess it's not so bad. That makes it easier for them to stomach what he trains them to do.
Like you said, you put one body in and it takes 2 hours, and then David says, well, if I put 4 bodies in, it's going to take 4 hours instead of 2 hours. And then he just starts to amp it up and put more bodies in at a time. And he's thinking, okay, I can retrieve more bodies. I can get paid more money, and just keep this going around the clock, 24 hours a day. And the owner of the cemetery is noticing the crematorium is going quite a bit, right? The 24 hours a day, the smokestack is going all the time. And he cannot figure out how he is doing these cremations when he knows how long it takes to burn one body and to cool the ovens down. So he's not quite understanding how it's all working. One of the guys is explaining, because he said, I watched how he would fit. He said that he would at one point fit 15 bodies in one oven. He said he would break collarbones. He would break an arm. He would break a leg to position 15 bodies in these ovens. To be able to fit them in the most compact way, to be able to burn them at the same time.
He was having contests with these guys to see who could get the most bodies in at once.
Yeah.
And what I thought was interesting is he doesn't have any remorse about this even to this day, because then they're interviewing him today.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, once you're dead, your soul's gone. It's not you anymore. It's just a body. They're like, well, how can you make sure that the ash is the ash? And he's like, it's not, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He starts to justify it in the beginning to say that a lot of these bodies were burial at sea.
Yeah.
So it was families that didn't want
the ashes back.
The ashes anyway.
Yeah.
And he's getting them from the county, or he's getting them from these old age homes.
Yeah.
And so it didn't really matter. But then he was doing it to everybody. It was very Jax Taylor vibes, honestly. Like, he was very comfortable justifying what he did.
Yes.
Unbothered.
Yeah. And in the middle of all of this, he meets a woman. He gets married. This woman is very in love with him. He is very in love with her. She loves this family, his mother and father and brother. They're kind of this quintessential, wonderful magazine picture family.
They were literally the Maytag family.
Yeah.
They were in a Maytag ad because they were so involved in like football. They're like, look, we wash all of our team's football jerseys in our washer, our Maytag washer.
Yeah. His wife at one point said his brain never stopped working. He would come home and read a book, watch TV, and be on the phone all at the same time. He was always going, and she never really thought anything about it. She visited the crematorium twice. She had no interest in it. It was just this brick house with 2 ovens, and it was just not interesting to her. They showed pictures of it. It was just kind of creepy looking. It just wasn't great. And so she was at home, and the money would come in, and they would go on trips, and they would buy jet skis, and they would buy boats, and they would buy cars, and David would buy trucks and gifts and things for these workers that he had. He treated people really well, and nobody really thought anything negative or bad or different about what was going on. Nobody thought it was wrong. No, not at all. And David even said, look, even if you cremated one body at a time, you can never really ensure that all of those ashes are not mixed up with another body. And he's not wrong. I mean, he's not wrong, really.
No.
I mean, to some degree, you're probably going to get, some ashes from the body that was just cremated from before. So, but he was very
flippant about it. And I think a big part of the industry of funerals is based on this idea of trusting the standards and the honor and the care that people are going to be giving their loved ones. And they show in the documentary, I don't know, the survivors, the families that trusted him and had their family members cremated by him.
Yeah.
And they're holding their urns and they're like, I don't know.
I don't know
what's in here. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, it was very sad. People say that David's parents were very hands-off with the crematorium, very hands-off with him. They really kind of wanted nothing to do with it. 1982 was roughly over 1,600 cremations. 1983, there was 3,487 cremations. Good grief. That is more than doubled the year before. So then the funeral industry around Pasadena starts to pay attention to this, and people start talking. Not just the people in the city start talking, but the other competitors in the funeral business start talking, and they're like, what in the actual fuck is going on? They're wondering what he's doing, how he's doing it. There is a competitor named Tim Waters who is wanting to talk to David himself, and they sit down for a lunch. And Tim owns a funeral home called the Alpha Society in Burbank, California. Tim and David sit down and have a discussion, and doesn't go well, apparently, but they don't really get anywhere. The two men don't really tell each other the truth. They don't think either of them are on the up and up. Tim does not think David is a good person, thinks that David is really kind of skeevy, and thinks something backwards and sideways is going on with David's cremation and David's business. Tim decides that he's going to write an article about David in, I guess, this mortuary magazine that they have, which is a thing. I didn't know that there's a mortuary magazine. Tim was going to write this scathing article about David, but then they circle back and they explain, even in more detail, if you burn one body and you were to scoop up all the ash, it would fill up a half a trash can.
A little bucket.
A little,
like a 1 gallon bucket.
Yeah, a 1 gallon. But David was burning so many bodies that he could fill up an entire 50-gallon trash can. A 50-gallon trash can. And in one day, he was filling up 9 at a time. In one day. That's how many he was doing in one 8-hour day. And so he was doing massive amounts of cremations. And they were trying to put it in perspective for us of how many bodies he was doing. As they were telling us, they said, well, then he was making massive profits on the other stuff. And I'm thinking, oh my God, the other stuff? What other stuff is he doing? And then these gentlemen, so the drivers and the guys that were putting the bodies in the ovens, and he said, well, he was cutting off body parts. And I thought, oh my God, cutting off body parts for what? Well, people would have jewelry on, right? Mm-hmm. Rings, necklaces, piercings, things like that. So David said, if the body swells when it dies, so you would have to cut the finger off to get the ring off. Mm-hmm. And they had a hanger, I guess, apparently, like a clothes hanger in the crematorium that they would put the rings on. And his wife explained one story. She noticed one day David came home with a styrofoam cup that had the letters A-U. He was carrying this cup that had the letters A-U on it. She didn't know what that meant.
Oh, I knew immediately. Did you know?
No, I didn't. Yeah, went into the garage, and she said she found him sitting on the floor with the cup and had a hammer, and the cup was filled with teeth, and he would crack the teeth with the hammer. The teeth had gold in them, and he would take the gold, sweep away the teeth, and put the gold back in the cup, because AU on a periodic table means gold. Oh my God.
And that's back when everyone All your fillings were
actual gold.
Gold.
Yes.
So he was making so much fucking money off of that.
He was calling it popping chops. He was so
icky.
Making what, $20,000 to $30,000 a month on gold teeth. The producers or the people who were interviewing him for the show said, "Did you do that?" And David said, "I never did that. My employees did that. I only did that if the family requested it." But the drivers all said, "No, he always did it. We didn't do it. We didn't like doing it. We never wanted to do it." So this guy is creepy. I mean, serial killer vibes, totally.
I think the fact that his demeanor is so nonchalant about it.
Yeah.
And so brazen.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just getting into the story, but I think the fact that he must have gotten away with it for so long.
Oh my God.
He doesn't seem to really be tuned in. This is why I say Jax Taylor vibes.
Oh God,
he does not seem to really be tuned in to what he's done is so horrible.
Yeah. And this is only part 1. And we got 2 more episodes, 2 parts to go. So then they show us 1984. So we went from 3,400 cremations to over 4,300 cremations in 1984. So now we go back to Tim Waters, the other funeral home owner who's going to write this scathing story with another gentleman for this magazine. And David gets this call one day from his mother, who's really upset, and says she's found out about this magazine article that's going to come out about the crematorium that's going to be negative, and she's really upset and really worried about it. And David says, "Don't be upset. I will take care of it, Mom. Don't cry anymore. It's going to be fine." So David calls up these drivers, and these drivers are big football guys, and says, "I want you to go to Tim and Ron, who are the guys that are going to write this magazine, and send them a message. Basically, not go beat them up. I mean, we're talking like mob style here." And they show pictures, and they go to Ron, and they beat the shit out of this poor guy. And it's a black and white photo. You know, they just beat the ever-living shit out of him. And then they go to Tim Waters' office, and they beat the shit out of him. And Tim Waters is a pretty big guy. He's pretty tall. They say he's around 300, 350 pounds. And they show a photo of him. He's all bloody. His nose is broken. It's a pretty gruesome photo. One of the drivers says, "Hey, I wasn't at that. I didn't go to that one. I didn't beat him up. The other guys did. So I don't know anything about what happened there. The other 2 guys went to his office and beat him up."
Which I believe, with all the shit that they're admitting to, I believe that. I didn't do that one.
And 2 months later, after Tim Waters gets beat up, he's dead. But we find out that Tim and David have gone out to lunch again, which David denies going out to lunch, but he dies of a heart attack. Tim is 24 at this point and dies of a heart attack. And David swears up and down that he first never went out a second time with him and says, "Hey man, this guy is overweight." And of course he would have died of a heart attack. But his drivers, his employees that work for him are like, he 100% poisoned him or killed him somehow. He absolutely did this.
But if he's still denying it, then I guess he wasn't convicted of that at least.
Right.
We still don't know exactly. I mean, unless we Google it, and I'm not going to because I want to watch the show.
Yeah.
To find out. So apparently that's one thing he got away with.
Yeah. But yeah. So that's where the episode ended. David denies doing anything.
But probably did. So, this is like, one, it's mortuary, death, funeral, all of that creepy, right?
Yeah.
Even as much as those of us who have lost family members and gone through that process, it's a supportive thing. But in general, it's, we're uncomfortable with it in our society. And then you've got this other level of like, not only is he involved in the cremation business, he's doing it in a shitty way.
Yeah.
And then he's doing it not only in a shitty, disrespectful way, it's also cruel and unusual and really fucked up. And then he's also like his own version of a funeral mob. He's created a funeral mafia.
Right. And clearly has been in and out of prison for 40 years, right? Since the 80s. Unbelievable.
I'm hoping to get more information about his family and what was going on there, because his ex-wife starts to tell a story, and she was clearly just head over heels with him. Like you said, obsessed with the whole family.
Yeah.
And she tells a story that at her wedding day, his mom comes up to her and says, "Are you sure that you want to do this?" And she's like, "Of course, your son's so great. I love him so much." And then his dad comes up to her and goes, "You don't have to do this. Are you sure that this is what you want?" And she's like, "Yeah, I definitely want to do this." And then his grandfather comes up to him and goes, "Is this what you really want? Is this definitely what, you don't have to." And she's like, "So that's fucking weird."
Yeah.
So what did
they know?
What did they know?
Yeah. About him. Does he have a psychosis diagnosis of some kind? Right. I don't know.
There's something going on there.
Yeah. So part 1, stay tuned next week for part 2.
Jax Taylor is going to be on the Valley, and then a version of Jax Taylor in the cemetery business.
My God.
I'm excited about
Wonderful.
it. All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah.
And this one will be a little bit shorter than last week.
Yeah,
so you're welcome. And hopefully I'll edit some more of these cats out of the background of us talking.
Go watch Love Island.
Oh my God, Love Island is so good.
Yeah.
It's so good. And then tell us who your favorites are.
Mm-hmm.
I love Houlda Coulda Shoulda.
I
Who's
love
your favorite?
Belle Dasha.
Belle Dasha. Belle Dasha. Okay, really quickly, we need to talk about... Don't come on here if you're not gonna have sex.
Oh, come on.
No, I don't want Christian girls.
Come on.
You can kiss me on the cheek. This is not... I want you to do what... Oh, God, I can't remember her name. The elevator salesman. I want you to have a blindfold on and be tongue first with everyone.
Oh, my God, Alandria. Holy shit. She's Hannah too, last year did that too. Tongue first.
Oh, Hannah.
Yeah.
It's so good. But yeah, no, Bella, by far the hottest girl there.
Sure.
Like, that girl is a supermodel. She's fucking gorgeous. Yeah. I think her and Shelley are the absolute hottest things on that show so far.
Yeah.
So far.
That's true.
But she shouldn't be on the show because she's not putting out.
Oh, you're so judgy. Go back to therapy. You're so judgy.
Don't be on the show unless you're putting out.
Stop. You do not have to be a whore to be on this show. Stop it.
Do not give me Dutch Brothers coffee unless you're bopping around and you're going to compliment my nails.
I'm calling your dad right now.
Oh, he will agree.
No.
He will agree with me.
He will not.
No, he will. Okay. So everyone, tell us what you think. Who's your favorite on Love Island? Let's see if it changes by next week.
True.
And thanks so much for listening again.
Yes.
And Keeley, I love you.
Love
Thank you for doing a podcast with me.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.